Welcome back, everybody, to the Tennessee Titans franchise here on Madden 23. Today, we wrap up the regular season here in year number 4 with what should be by far the most important regular season game of the entire series. The winner of this game here against the Jaguars will win the AFC South, and to dig even deeper, if we win this game, we will be the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. So obviously, there is a whole lot at stake in this matchup as we want to cement ourselves as the division winners. I'm sure we would love to have home field run through Tennessee in the entire playoffs. We beat the Chargers in the last episode 31-24 as we are now 12-4 on the season, and currently we are the number 1 seed in the AFC thanks to our head-to-head tiebreaker over the Bills. But we have not clinched the 1 seed or the division yet because of Jacksonville. Before we dive any further into our matchup with them, we've got a prospect profile with linebackers and defensive backs. We'll start with the linebackers, and keep in mind we run a 3-4, so our outside linebackers are pass rushers, and we've had young inside linebackers like Asher Gonzalez and R.J. Robinson really break out, along with obviously having Harold Landry and Azeez Ojulari on the edge. While I think linebacker probably is not a huge need for us, I would like to improve the run defense this offseason if possible, maybe add another pass rusher, because you can never have too many guys going after the quarterback. It's a pretty talented linebacker class. You've got multiple projected first rounders and some interesting sleepers down the board. We'll start with Duke Hawkins out of Georgia. He's a little bit of a tweener because he's 6'2", 230 pounds, but he is more of an edge rusher. I think ideally you'd love to see him gain 20 or 30 more pounds of strength, but he certainly does not lack the quickness or get off to play the edge. He does need to refine his toolbox as a pass rusher, but the rest of this game is pretty solid. He's good in run defense, he's good in coverage, so he's very well-rounded and doesn't have any major weaknesses, which is a really big deal and probably why he ends up in the first round. Raymond Leak from South Carolina is pretty good as well. Going down the board, there are some interesting players here as well. Let's move over to middle linebacker with Alex Savage III being the cream of the crop out of the University of Michigan. 6'4", 254 pounds. He's ironically built more like a pass rusher, although his role will likely be in the middle as your traditional Mike linebacker. He is ridiculously athletic and smart at his size, which is why teams are going to really like him. He's very solid in coverage, pretty good at run defense. I want to see him be a little bit more consistent as a tackler, but teams really like the physical profile with Alex Savage, and that's probably why he ends up being a first-round pick. Parker Ashby from Louisville could also sleep in the first round. I think Zayd Collier from Kansas, he's more of the pass rusher. I think if you transition him to the edge, he could be pretty good. Michael Merriman's one of my favorite players in the draft, 5'9", 260. He's got a weird build. Giovanni Malumbe is the top projected right outside linebacker out of Tennessee. He's a little bit raw. I like his physical profile, but I think he has a lot of work to do as a pass rusher. 6'2", 250 pounds. He's pretty good in coverage, so worst case scenario, you can have him play off the ball, but Tennessee's really tried to use him as a pass rusher, and he has shown a lot of flashes there. Boaz Hoffman from Virginia is in a similar boat, although I think he lacks the versatility that Malumbe has. While he is good in coverage, I don't know if he necessarily has the range to play inside. I do think he is good covering against tight ends, and I would like to see him maybe try to gain 20 or 30 pounds to potentially become more of the pass rusher because, again, he has shown the flashes going after the quarterback, but he only has 5 sacks in his collegiate career. I think Adrian Anderson from LSU could be an interesting gem. Some other good players down the board as we move over to the secondary. The Titans have a great secondary. 3 very good corners. You got 2 really solid safeties, and then the rookie Amani Ward as well. But there's one problem. Our 2 starting corners and our 2 starting safeties are not under contract this year. Chidobe Awuzie and Caleb Farley are both free agents, along with Kevin Byard and Juan Thornhill. Cardell Simpson and Harrison Harrington are good young players, but they expire next year. So other than Amani Ward, nobody is set to be here long term. Obviously, Caleb Farley will be essential to returning, but I can't guarantee that the other players are going to return. So because of that, it's very likely that the Titans will look at a corner or safety pretty early into the draft. Lucky for them, it is a loaded cornerback class headlined by the top projected pick in the entire draft, Melly Golden, out of Cincinnati. He has had a meteoric rise at the position for the Bearcats. 2 years ago, he was playing at FCS Youngstown State, and now he's projected to be the number 1 pick. His improvement throughout the last couple of seasons has been remarkable. He's a very good athlete, very good in coverage, great size, 6'3", 190 pounds, phenomenal ball skills, 16 interceptions in the last 2 years. Quarterbacks do not throw the ball his way, and when they do, it's more likely that he's going to catch it rather than the receiver. We've seen some very good corner prospects in this series, particularly Jameer Jefferson out of Ohio State back in Season 2, but even he doesn't have the size and athleticism that Golden has. There are plenty of other good corners behind him, including Shante Cooks out of Notre Dame. He's a very versatile player. You can line him on the outside. You can line him in the slot. I think he can deal with the quickness of slot receivers, and he also has the size and physicality, 6'2", 215, to go on the outside. 7 interceptions this year. The ball skills have really improved. He's an all-around solid athlete. While he maybe isn't as quick, as twitchy, or as consistent in coverage that Melly Golden is, he's still really, really good. Tariq Thompson out of Florida State is also really good. Thompson is a 4-year starter with the Seminoles. He's played more football at a high level than just about any cornerback in this year's draft class. 6'1", 200 pounds, good athleticism, very good in man coverage, very good in press coverage. The ball skills have been very consistent since his freshman season. He's gotten at least 3 interceptions a year, including his sophomore season where he missed 8 games with injury. I think he's another surefire first rounder and has a very high floor compared to some of the other corners in this draft. Leonidas Mitchell out of Nebraska is somebody who kind of came out of nowhere this year. He's played sporadically over the last few years at Nebraska. He became a full-time starter on the outside this year, and he was really impressive. He picked off 5 passes. He's a tough, physical, savvy corner, 6'1", 186 pounds. He's got good launch speed. He's got very good ball skills, and that's an area of this game that's really improved this season. This is somebody whose draft stock is really on the rise, and going into the season, he wasn't really on many people's draft radars, and now it's likely he'll be a first-round pick in this year's draft. The final surefire first-round corner as of now is Cheetah Abdelani out of USC. This is another guy who's played a lot of football, 4-year starter with the Trojans. He really lives up to his name because he is remarkably fast. The question with him is more so his agility, his quickness. Is he going to be able to turn his hips quickly as receivers cut upfield? That's kind of the one area of this game that he's really struggled with, despite having good launch speed. That does hurt him in coverage, but other than that, he is a very solid cover player. His ball skills need some work, but with his size and physical profile, I think he can really get there to eventually becoming a good pro. You've got multiple potential fringe first-round corners, including Malachi Fultz, Josh Parks, Ayo Oguga, and Utavis Kojemi. We're going to take a look at Ayo Oguga out of the University of Alabama in specific. I think this is another player who's got a super high floor and will be ready to contribute right off the bat. 6 foot, 181 pounds. I'd like to see him gain another 10 to 20 pounds, ideally. But he's just an all-around very solid player in coverage. He doesn't allow big plays. He's got good ball skills. I think he's going to be one of the more pro-ready corners in this draft, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him outperform some of those top guys, particularly early on in their careers. This class at corner isn't necessarily as deep as it is top-heavy, but there are some names to watch out for down the board. I like Davis Slater out of Washington. He's a very, very solid player. Ignacio Casanova out of Wake Forest, great athlete, a little bit raw. Landon Ashby's quite solid, as is Zeth McConnell out of Virginia Tech. Mickey Stoll's got an odd build, 5'9", 221, but he makes it work. He's very talented. Yeonde Moutier out of North Carolina is a very intriguing player in the 4th round, as is Blake Swash and Buxton Young. And then even going down the board, looking at some of the undrafted guys like Colin McCain and Kinney Nanababatada. Overall, very, very solid group. It's a talented safety class as well. We're probably going to have more first-rounders this year at safety than any season thus far in the series. We'll start with Elijah Fox out of Duke, who is the top projected safety overall in the class. 6'3", 216 pounds. He's got pretty good athleticism. He's very solid in zone coverage, also quite solid as a run defender. The ball skills were very good last year as a junior. This year they have gotten worse, but I still think he will be a first-rounder because the rest of this game is so solid, and I would be surprised if he doesn't end up as a top 20 pick. Khalil Diop, Marceau Rome, and Terry McMichaels are all fringe first-rounders. We'll take a look at Diop specifically out of Oklahoma. 6 foot, a shade under 200 pounds. He's a very versatile safety who can do a lot of different things for your defense, and I think he's a guy who very well could be worth a first-rounder when it's all said and done. Good athlete, pretty solid in coverage, improving ball skills. That's an area of this game that's really gotten better. He doesn't have any major strengths, but he also lacks weaknesses. That's why the Titans really liked Amani Ward in the second round last year, and because of that, they could really like Khalil Diop this year, although I think he will probably go earlier than Ward did a season ago. Even going down the board, Pooh Trevins Jr., he's a talented player from Texas State, Desmond Beacon, Kempton Rock. And then as we go to strong safety, there's a very clear top two with Gavin Wilson-Wilsky from USC and Pradyuman Singh out of UTSA. We're going to take a look at Singh in particular. He's one of the older prospects in this draft at 24 years old. But I think with age comes wisdom. I think he's a smart player who's going to be able to contribute right away. Very similar to with Khalil Diop from Oklahoma, Singh does not have many major weaknesses. His ball skills have also really improved over the last couple of years. Very solid ball skills. So teams that are going to like Diop are also going to really like Singh because they're pretty similar prospects. Santo Irvin and Bugsy Ernst are interesting players down the board. They're both intriguing athletes. Ernst is 6'7" out of Old Dominion. Santo Irvin is 10 inches shorter. He's only 5'9", but he's one of the most impressive athletes in this entire draft class, and I suspect he is going to tear up the combine. He's probably going to be the fastest safety in the NFL as soon as he signs his contract. He is a little bit raw. He's had a pretty bad season this year in comparison to last year. Going into the season, he was projected as probably the top safety overall, but along with the rest of the Texas team, has been kind of disappointing. There's some intriguing depth. You've got Histon Stromboli, Hassan Drame, Shane Isaac, pretty good players. So that is the draft class. We've now gone through every position of the class. We still have to see which underclassmen will declare, but now we kind of have a gauge of what every position looks like, and we'll get back to the draft class in the offseason, but obviously now our focus is on the Tennessee Titans, who are at 12-4. They have clinched a playoff spot. They're looking to clinch the division and the number one seed here against the Jaguars, who are a game behind them. But remember, the Jaguars beat the Titans back in week 2, so if Jacksonville wins today, they will have swept the season series, meaning that they will have the head-to-head tiebreaker, which puts them ahead of us for the division, and we would fall all the way to the 5th seed, where we would most likely go up against the winner of the AFC North, which is going to be either the Ravens or the Bengals. So there's a lot at stake here. We obviously would love to get a first-round bye, have the playoffs run through Tennessee. As we look at the Jaguars, they started the year off really good. They've hit a cold spell, though. They've only won 3 of their last 6 games, and they're just not playing their best football at the moment. They're led by quarterback Trevor Lawrence, my long-lost brethren. Lawrence is 25 years old. He's having the best season of his career up to this point. And I think this Jaguars team has the capability to win a Super Bowl, and I think they have the quarterback who can get it done. He's already passed his career high in touchdowns, and he could pass his career high in yards as well. He usually plays very well against us, so I am a little bit worried about how we're going to be able to stop him. The Jags have plenty of weapons as well. Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. James Robinson and Quincy Murphy as well are good power backs. They've got a good receiving corps led by Bryce Berry III, the former Oklahoma Sooner, one of Romeo Colucci's former college teammates. They've got a pretty solid offensive line and a good group on defense led by Josh Allen, Javon Holland, and our arch nemesis Trayvon Walker, who of course infamously injured Malik Willis deliberately back in Season 2. This Jaguars team is young, they're hungry, they're looking to capture a division title. So we've got our hands full, but we are at home today, and obviously we are one of the hottest teams in the league. We've only lost 1 game since week 5. That was a couple weeks ago in a hilarious choke against the Colts. So which team will win the AFC South, the Jags or the Titans? I'm a little bit surprised this isn't a primetime game. It's in the 1 o'clock slate, which is kind of weird, but we'll roll with it. Derrick Henry up the middle, nice first down, good short throw by Romeo Colucci. This is his final opportunity to prove why he deserves to win the Rookie of the Year, as he is the slight favorite right now over Justin Tucker of the Raiders. Nice gain of 21 by Romeo on the ground at the 35, and the Titans are having no problems moving down the field to start the game. Colucci scrambles to the right, goes downfield, it's caught by Kyle Pitts, who gets it to the 5. Pitts returned from injury last week. He had a big game, scoring twice. Him back in the lineup is a massive deal for this offense. 2nd and goal. The King has entered his castle. It's a Derrick Henry touchdown. And the Tennessee Titans are on the board first. A quick drive, not even 3 minutes long. and they score a touchdown. So now it's time for the Jaguars to respond. Handoff for Alvin Kamara on the first play of the drive, and he is going backwards. Harold Landry brings him down. Landry's had probably his worst season of the series. He's still been good, but not as good as he's been in the past. 2nd and 11, deep shot downfield is caught all the way to the 34. A long gain of 45 yards for Kendrick Bourne, and the Jaguars are moving it nicely down the field. Following play, Lawrence looks to throw it. He goes short, caught by the tight end Cole Kmet, who fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by Caleb Farley. I think that was Cardell Simpson who was able to get that ball out of Kmet's hands, but this play might not stand. It is going to be reviewed. Let's get a look at the replay here, and as you can see, that was actually Asher Gonzalez who forced the fumble. My apologies, but I think this play is going to be reversed. Right there, Cole Kmet's knee is clearly down while he has possession of the football. So the play will be reversed. A major break for the Jaguars, who now have it in the red zone, looking to tie up the game. 2nd and goal from the 6. Alvin Kamara with the handoff. He's got room, and Kamara is pushed into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Jaguars tie it up. So both teams march down the field through their opening possessions. It looks like we could have ourselves a really exciting game. The Titans have it back. Kalochi is sacked on 3rd down. Al Cahal brings him down for a loss of about 8, and that'll force a punt. The Jaguars get a defensive stand, and that'll pretty much wrap up the first quarter. 7-7. We've got ourselves a good one here in Nashville with the AFC South on the line. The winner clinches the division. Jacksonville's got a 3rd and 9. Lawrence looks to throw it. He's under pressure from Landry. Goes short for Kamara, who catches it and is out of bounds after a gain of 4. So the Titans will get the stop. Jacksonville's going to have to kick this one from 41, and it is good. Not the prettiest of kicks, but it gets the job done. And the Jaguars have their first lead of the game. They're now ahead 10-7. The Titans will get it back. Close to midfield, Kalochi keeps it on the read option. Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? He slides at the 35, another big run for Kalochi. His second 20-plus yard run of the first half. 2nd and 10 now from the 35. Kalochi backs up in the pocket. He has Kyle Pitts open downfield, and Pitts is going to gain 30. He brings it to the 5-yard line, and the Titans have it back in the red zone with another opportunity to take the lead. 2 big plays in the first half here for Kyle Pitts, who is now in the zone. 2nd and goal from the 2. Just over 6 to go. Kalochi hands it off for Elijah Bryant, and he is in with ease for a touchdown, and the Titans will take their lead back. It's now 14-10. Jacksonville will get it back. They've got around 4 minutes left in the half. Is on 1st down. Lawrence looks to throw it. He's got an open man downfield. Solid gain. It's Kendrick Bourne who gets them past midfield. Following play, now from the 44. 3.5 minutes left to go here in the first half. Very competitive game so far here in Tennessee. Lawrence scrambles to the right, goes downfield, and it is caught by Bryce Berry III, the former top 10 pick, who gets it to the 28. Jacksonville's moving it very nicely. Following play, Lawrence is intercepted. Caleb Farley is in the double digits. His 10th interception of the season. What a year for Caleb Farley, who's been so good in coverage. The ball skills have been fantastic. Obviously, 10 interceptions is remarkably impressive. The first player since Trayvon Diggs in 2021 to have double-digit interceptions in a season. So the Titans will get it back off the turnover, looking to extend the lead. Scotty Pickens with the 1st down. Tennessee runs no huddle, trying to hold on to their timeouts. But Romeo is sacked by Devin Lloyd, the former first-round linebacker out of Utah. The Titans call timeout number 2. 3rd and 19 now. Passes caught downfield by Kyle Pitts. It's a gain of 20, and that's good for a 1st down. 2nd and 10 now. Titans with 2 timeouts in their back pocket, looking to extend the lead. Kalochi under more pressure. He is sacked again. This time it's Josh Allen who brings him down, and Tennessee calls timeout number 2. 3rd and 19, under 40 seconds left to go in the half. Romeo looks to throw it. He has time up the middle, and he connects with Elijah Bryant, who gets a solid gain, which will definitely put the Titans in field goal range, but it's not quite enough for a 1st down. Jacksonville calls a timeout as fat Randy Bullock is out from 42, splits it down the middle, and the Titans now lead by 7. It's 17-10. We'll see if Jacksonville can score here before the end of the first half, trailing by a touchdown. On first down, it's a screen for Kamara, who gets by Juan Thornhill, who tried to play the ball. If Kamara had cut to the right, he could have gotten a really big gain and gone out of bounds, but still a nice first down nonetheless. 2nd and 7 now. Lawrence goes downfield as a wide open man. It's Kendrick Bourne, who is out of bounds at the 30. Jacksonville is out of timeout, so they're going to play it safe and kick the field goal. Probably the right call. This one from around 47. It is up, and it is no good. Wide to the right. And the Titans will get the ball back. They don't have a lot of time or timeouts. They've got 7 seconds and 1 timeout in their back pocket. Maybe they can try for a quick play downfield and go for a field goal if they're in range. That's exactly what they're going to do. Scotty Pickens is down at the 43 for a gain of 20. So what does Tennessee do? Do you go for the Hail Mary or the long kick? The field goal unit is out. I don't know if Randy Bullock has the leg to get it from 60, but the Titans are going to try. His kick is good. Fat Randy Bullock drills it from 60, and the Titans take a 2-score lead going into the half. 20-10, Tennessee on top. The Titans are 1 half away from winning the division, but they can't take the pedal off the metal quite yet. We know this team is not good in the fourth quarter of games when they have leads. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the rest of the league. We will start in Houston. The Kansas City Chiefs have a playoff spot on the line, and lucky for them, they're playing against the 2-14 Houston Texans. The Chiefs are taking advantage of this opportunity as they lead 17-7 late in the half. Patrick Mahomes has been very good. The Texans, meanwhile, have already clinched the number 1 pick for the 3rd time in this series. That's pretty embarrassing. Next up, we head down to the Bayou. The Dolphins and Saints are both out of the playoff race, but the Dolphins have been a very compelling second half story because of the high-level play of second-round quarterback Kareem Kamara, who was the replacement for Jalen Hurts, who got benched. Kamara had another great performance so far in the first half with 3 touchdowns as the Dolphins lead the Saints. Even if Miami only finishes the year 6-11, they've got to feel really good about their young quarterback Kareem Kamara, who's played great this year, and he also has superstar X Factor. The Dolphins' former quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, is leading the Giants here over the Buccaneers. New York can potentially clinch a playoff spot with a win. They're playing against a really good Bucs team, but the Giants do at the edge by 1. 14-13 your score at halftime. Tua's been very good with 2 touchdowns. Sterling Yorkshire, meanwhile, with 2 interceptions for the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay has already clinched their division. They are only playing for seeding at this point of the year. So as we go into the second half, we have the lead, but as we have seen throughout the entirety of the season, we are not good when we are up by a lot. We are prone to choking big leads. So if we can pad this lead in the third quarter, we cannot put our pedal off the metal in the fourth. Lawrence hands it off for Kamara here on 2nd and 3. Gets a big gain nearing midfield. The Jaguars can make it a 1-score game here on this drive, so getting a stop here could be really big. 2nd and 11. Trevor Lawrence looks to throw it. His pass is tipped. Boink, boink, intercepted. It was tipped in the air 3 times and eventually caught by R.J. Robinson. So the Titans force a turnover. Lawrence's 2nd interception of the game, and Tennessee will get the ball back. They can make it a 3-possession lead if they manage their cards right. 3rd and 8. Kalochi connects downfield. Nice throw and catch for a first down by Quinn Crew. Now from 21, 2nd and 2. Handoff for Elijah Bryant, and he will lose 2. So that'll bring us to a big 3rd and 4. A conversion would be massive for Tennessee. Kalochi's going to look short. He goes back for Elijah Bryant. He gets the first down and is inside the 10 at the 8. Big gain of 15 for Bryant. 3rd and goal now from the 1. Handoff for Derrick Henry, and he is in, bulldozing through defenders. His 2nd touchdown of the game. And with that, the Titans lead it 27-10. So now Tennessee's got that big lead, and they get a big stop here on 2nd and 2. Azeez Ojulari forces a loss for Kamara. 3rd and 4 now for Jacksonville from the 31. Lawrence looks to throw it, takes a shot downfield, and it is caught at the other 31 by Bryce Berry. Big pass by Lawrence. It's a gain of 38 as the Jaguars try to get some momentum on offense. 2nd and 4. Short passes caught by Kamara, who is leveled by Kevin Byard for a loss of 2. That'll make it a 3rd down now, 3rd and 6 for Jacksonville. What do they have up their sleeve here? Lawrence is going to hand it off for Kamara, and he does not get much. Maybe a yard, if that. So it's now 4th and 6. The Jags are going to bring the field goal team out, trying to make it a 14-point game with around a minute left in the quarter. And it is a fake. Marco Prince with the pass, and it is incomplete. Amani Ward sending pressure, and the Jags are unable to score. It'll remain 27-10. The Jaguars are just trying to pull out all the stops now. Kalochi hit as he throws, and he's intercepted on the first play of the drive by Javon Holland. So the Jaguars get the ball right back, and it's like nothing happened. Javon Holland with the big play for Jacksonville Ducks, and they'll get the ball right back. Still trailing by 3 possessions, however. Handoff for Kamara. He's going to go backwards once again. Wrapped up by Trey Hendrickson for a loss of 3. 3rd down and long now for the Jaguars. Potentially the final play of the quarter. We'll see what Trevor Lawrence can do here. He's going to look to throw it now under pressure, and he will be sacked all the way back at the 50. Ojulari and Landry with half a sack each, and so that'll wrap up the 3rd quarter. The Titans 1 quarter away from winning the division, but they've got to hold on. They're up 27-10. They can't afford to choke another lead. The Jags are desperate. They're going to go for it right off the bat to start the 4th. Lawrence goes downfield. It's in the hands of Kmet, who then gets rocked. Good coverage by Tennessee. They'll get it back, looking to extend the lead and cement this statement win. Handoff for Derrick Henry, breaking tackles. Henry is loose, and he gains around 12. If the Titans can run the ball efficiently and just don't do anything stupid, they should be fine. The problem is that's been a challenge for this team in the 4th quarter. Derrick Henry with a short reception. Nice gain of 14. Good play after the catch. Good read by Romeo. It's now 3rd and 5 for Tennessee. Handoff for Derrick Henry, and he will not get it. The Titans are already this close. A field goal doesn't do that much, so they are going to go for it here on 4th and 1. The Titans are very effective on 4th and short. Derrick Henry doesn't get much, only 2, but that's all he needs to keep the drive going. 2nd and goal, play action pass. Kalochi on the run, connects with Kyle Pitts for the touchdown. And the Titans appear to have cemented this game. They're now up by 23, 24 pending the kick. And it looks like Tennessee should be able to win the AFC South. The Jags would march down the field for a good 4 minutes. 3rd and goal, first play after the 2-minute warning. It is caught for a touchdown. The Jaguars are going to go for 2, trying to make it a 2-possession game, just trying to hold on to all hope possible. Lawrence will look to run it, and he does not get it. The Titans will get the stop. Jacksonville will now have to go for an onside kick. This will really be their only hope at winning this ball game. Logan Cook, the punter, will kick it, and it is pretty easily recovered by Tennessee. Jordan Ruffin is able to jump on it, and that will do it. A dominant win here for the Titans, 34-16 at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with that, the Titans will finish Season 4 with a record of 13-4. The inaugural regular season in the Romeo Kalochi era ends up being a very good one. The Titans will win their 3rd consecutive AFC South division and clinch the #1 seed in the AFC playoffs. The Titans will not play on Wild Card Weekend. They will get to rest up. They will get a first-round bye, and the AFC playoffs runs through Tennessee. It's going to be a loaded playoff field, but no matter what, we are going to be home up until the Super Bowl if we were able to make it, which is certainly going to be a challenge, but I think this team has what it takes to win a championship, and this one against the Jaguars helped prove that. Both QBs were fine. Neither of them were great, but neither of them were bad, and Romeo made less bad plays to help us win the game. Both teams ran the ball pretty well. I think our run defense has gotten quite a bit better throughout the year, which is very nice. Kyle Pitts, Bryce Berry standing out in the receiving game. And then our defense was really good. We've played some very strong defensive football recently. Only one sack today, but the run defense was pretty good. The coverage was fantastic. A couple of interceptions from Farley and Robinson. So with that, we win the division. We are 13-4. Let's take a look at the other results around the league. It's now official. We don't have a game here on Wild Card Weekend. And here are all of your scores. None of these technically matter for us for the immediate future since we've clinched the number 1 seed. But now all of the playoff spots have been decided. Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Kamara, Kenyon Mills, and Gregory Rousseau end up winning the Players of the Week. Let's take a look at the final standings and final playoff picture in both conferences. We'll start with the AFC, which is definitely the better of the two conferences. Obviously, we finished 13-4, the best record in the entire NFL. The Bills will be the 2 seed, the Raiders will be the 3, and the Bengals end up winning their division. They'll be the 4 seed. The Chargers, Jaguars, and Chiefs will end up being the wild cards. As for the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys, who won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, are the number 1 seed. The Packers, Bucks, and 49ers ended up winning their divisions as the only teams in the conference with double-digit wins. The Lions, Rams, and 8-win Giants will be wild cards. The Cardinals, Bears, and Falcons just miss out. Arizona is certainly the most interesting team of the group here. The Cardinals at one point were like 7-1. They went all out at the trade deadline, and it has obviously backfired as they did not even make the playoffs. Here's a look at your playoff picture for both conferences. Got some really fun matchups in the AFC. There's something that all 6 of these AFC teams have in common. We beat all of them during the regular season. We've beaten every AFC playoff team already, most of whom we've beaten within the last 5 or 6 weeks. We've played a lot of these teams very recently. Our last 3 games were against the Bengals, Chargers, and Jaguars. The Chiefs and Raiders were both pretty recent, and the Bills game is really what started our win streak. So clearly we know a thing or two about beating good teams because we've beaten a lot of them throughout the season. So we will play against one of either the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Chargers, or the Jaguars in the second round of the playoffs. We cannot play against the Bills or Raiders because there is no mathematical way that any of them could be the lowest seed left in the AFC. We've played against all of these teams very recently. The Chiefs we beat on Sunday Night Football a few weeks back, and then the other 3 teams were our last 3 games. It is worth noting that Romeo Colucci did win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Caleb Farley won the Defensive Back of the Year, although he really should have won the Defensive Player of the Year. So now it's time to simulate. Who will we play against in the second round? The Chiefs, Jaguars, Chargers, or Bengals? All right, let's take a look, and we've got ourselves a very interesting matchup that you guys are going to have to find out next time.